Kris, no surprise in the end?
No, I think when results are going the way that they've been going for Rangers, then there's only one outcome. You know, the fans have, a lot of them didn't accept the appointment to start with, and it's grown and grown and grown. So the revolt from the fans has probably forced Russell Martin, or one of the things that's forced Russell Martin out the door, but ultimate results, you could maybe cut him some slack if you could see improvement in performances, but that wasn't the case. And I think, the Rangers hierarchy were only left with one option, that was to remove Russell Martin of his duties.
Go back to the start then, if I remember correctly, you backed this appointment, or you thought it was a good appointment. What changed?
Well, I think obviously results and performances. The reason I thought it would have been because you listen to a lot of Rangers fans over a period of time, and they knew when you speak about young managers and giving an opportunity and a style of play, I felt as if Russell Martin could have brought that here. You look at the way his career has started. MK Dons, he brought a style in there, improved players, the exact same at Swansea, got to Southampton, and a club that was in transition as well at that time. They'd just been relegated, got them back up to the Premier League, and I felt as if it was a good stepping stone for coming here would have been a good move for Russell Martin. Then, I think we've seen players, big name players, we've seen managers come here with a reputation in the past and get caught up in the whole Glasgow. It's a very difficult environment to manage in, it's a very difficult environment to coach in. If you're not getting results, then there's only going to be one outcome, because the other side of the city reminds you that on a constant basis. So, I think that it's not what Rangers wanted, because this is now, I think, the 5th season in a row that Rangers have had to change, a manager's not started and finished the same season. So it's especially new owners coming in, but ultimately results dictate what's going to happen at a football club, and they've not been good enough for Russell Martin.
Do you think in any way he lost the dressing room? Remember that interview with me after the Motherwell game where he called out players, whether that was right or wrong? Do you think it didn't help in the long run, even if he was in the right?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't mind it at the time, because I thought, the performance wasn't great. There was a few times where you felt as if managers, especially here, will sugarcoat it. I thought, yeah, fair play, go and have a go. But you felt as if it was starting to come every single week from Russell Martin, calling players out, or asking questions of his team, and it loses its impact if you do it so often. So there's no doubt, I think Russell will have grown as a person, grown as a manager from this. He will come back somewhere, but ultimately you've got to look and think, was the job too big or too soon for Russell Martin? But he's not the first manager that will come here and fail.
You look at it another way and say, this is a new era with new owners. They want to put a structure in place, and you have to give it time. Why, after just 123 days, are they getting rid of somebody so soon? Is there any credence in that argument?
Well, I think you can put people in place, but if you're not getting results, then you've got to keep going till you get the right person. I was behind the whole structure. I felt as if Rangers for a number of years, in terms of getting your CEO, your sporting director of football, but you've got to get the right people in there as well. I think Russell Martin will go away and reflect on some of the players that he brought to the football club that have let him down. There is no doubt that there's fingerprints from other people over some of the signings that have arrived at Rangers as well. When you think of Chermiti, for the amount of money that Rangers have spent on him, for £9 million, you've got to be looking for more. You've got to be looking for somebody that's going to come in and start and have an impact. You're more or less looking, if you're bringing them to Scottish football, the finished article, not a project. And I think that's something that has maybe been, for Rangers recruitment, they've tried to hit the jackpot with every single signing, bringing them in, giving them an opportunity to try and move them on for bigger money. You need to have a core at this football club that allows you to build from within, and that has been lost. So I think for whoever comes in next, for me, has to look at Scottish based players. I know that we spoke about British over a period of time. I think Russell Martin has brought in, or the club has brought in British-based players, but I think it's from when you go back to the Championship or League One, it's been from clubs that have struggled. They've struggled to make an impact here in Scotland, and you can't keep making the same mistake.
Yeah, 2 more questions, Boyd, before I ask you who's next. Just on that, do you think there's maybe a lack of appreciation from those within the club about Scotland, Scottish football, and just what's expected in this city? Or are we, as people that come from Scotland, maybe overthinking that?
No, I mean, Scotland's a difficult place to play football. There's a lot of people, especially down south, that think that it's easy, it's not that good. And sometimes the football isn't that good. You know, you can't get away from that. But it's a difficult place to play because both clubs in this city demand that you win. Both can't win at the same time. And when you're not winning, you come under huge scrutiny. And that's where Rangers are at right now, because there's a lot of things. Not only Russell Martin hasn't delivered, there's a lot of people within the football club failing to deliver in their duty right now as well. And the focus will turn on them. You've seen it in the hotel during the week. There will be questions asked of the Rangers hierarchy. And that's what happens in Scotland if you're not winning.
OK then. Who is next, given that it's not only Celtic, but at the minute Heart of Midlothian who lead the league table that a Rangers manager is going to have to overcome?
Yeah, I mean, I think Steven Gerrard would be the obvious name that will be in the lips of the majority of Rangers fans. Sean Dyche has obviously worked with people within this board in the past. You see someone that would be interested. Kevin Muscat's another one. Or do Rangers go? I mean, you speak about Heart of Midlothian there. Derek McInnes has had a fantastic start at Hearts. Do Rangers go and speak to him, or try and speak to him? Because you've got to look, yeah, it didn't happen before, but the impact he has had at Hearts since moving there from Kilmarnock might be something that interests Rangers. But whatever happens, they need to get the right man in, because you look at it, and as I said earlier there, since Steven Gerrard and Rangers won the league, there's not been a manager started the season and finished the season with Rangers, and that can't continue.
Kris, thank you very much for your time. Interesting stuff. There we go. The Russell Martin era is over, but who will be in charge of Rangers when they next play after the international break against Dundee United? Only time will tell.